Welcome everyone, and congratulations on your admission to our online MSW program. I'm so excited to work with all of you during your time in our program. My name is Michelle Gervelin, and I'm the MSW Online Program Specialist. I'll be working very closely with all of you during the next few years. I serve as the advisor for all online students, so if you have any questions, I would be your first contact person for most issues. Amy Kirby is the MSW Program Coordinator. She oversees all things related to the online program and the traditional MSW program. Here's our agenda for this session and a brief overview of the topics we'll be getting into today. We'll review the online MSW program, talk about life as a UWM online graduate student, answer some common questions, and give you an introduction to field placement. I'm happy to meet with any of you individually in the upcoming weeks if you have any questions or individual circumstances that you'd like to work through. So we'll start by jumping right into the nitty-gritty of the online program and its curriculum. Our online program is different and has more limits when compared to our traditional on-campus program. The details of the differences between the online program and traditional program can be found on our website and has been presented in information sessions, but we want to make sure that you understand the differences between the programs and the limits of the online program. We believe that a good program fit is really important to your success, and the online program is not a good fit for everyone. There are limitations to the online program, but there are also tremendous benefits and opportunities that I hope will become clear to you today. After attending this orientation, if you decide that the online program is not a fit for you, we understand. Please know that you have the opportunity to choose online or our traditional program. Both are open to you, and you do not need to fill out a new application. Please contact us if you want to discuss other options in greater detail. So with that, let's get into the details. Here are a few things that are important to note. We'll elaborate on many of these points during the presentation, but we don't want you to sit here for 2 hours if this isn't a good program fit for you. The online program, unfortunately, does not have a school social work track. It also does not have a substance abuse counseling track. Employment-based field placements are possible, but not guaranteed. You will have courses during the summer semesters. The online program is a part-time program. We do not offer a full-time program at this time for online students. You do not have to enroll in courses. I will do this for you if you're an online MSW student. Field placements do not start until your second year in the program, both for advanced standing students and foundation students. It's unlikely that you'll be able to get a field placement that is exclusively outside of the 8 to 5 p.m. hours. Let's clarify the curriculum tracks in some of our language here. The first curriculum track we call Advanced Standing. This is the track for people who come into the MSW program with a bachelor's degree in social work from a Council on Social Work Education accredited program. In order to qualify for advanced standing, your BSW degree would need to be earned within the past 7 years. If a person has a BSW earned more than 7 years ago, but you have at least 3 years of social work practice experience within the most recent 7 years, then you may still qualify for advanced standing. We require submission of evidence of your social work practice experience. This evidence will need to be submitted to Amy Kirby to be considered for advanced standing. So, if you have a BSW, but it was earned more than 7 years ago, and you haven't submitted any paperwork to me or Amy Kirby, please make sure to do so, otherwise you will not qualify for advanced standing and you will be registered for foundation courses. The second curriculum track we call the Professional Foundation track. It is for people with bachelor's degrees in anything other than social work. The curriculum starts with our foundation courses and then later moves into the same advanced curriculum. Keep track of which category and curriculum track you fit into as we move forward with additional details about how the program operates, and pay attention to the sections that are relevant to your situation. If you are uncertain which track applies to you, please contact me and we can sort through this together. The curriculum selected for the online MSW program cohort is designed to develop skill, knowledge, and practice preparation across a spectrum of topics and population areas. The program will prepare students broadly for advanced practice in a lot of different settings. We've designed the online program with courses that meet the state of Wisconsin's minimum requirements for having a clinical emphasis to the master's degree for those of you who desire future clinical licensure, that being the LCSW credential. LCSW stands for Licensed Clinical Social Worker. If you live in a different state, please be sure to check your state's requirements for obtaining clinical credentials. The program is also very relevant for those who don't plan a clinical path in their future career, because the skills and knowledge that you gain will benefit clinical and non-clinical practice alike. I'll talk more about this today, but please keep in mind that field placement will be an important piece of the MSW educational experience and will be a place where you can develop more directed skills and knowledge in a particular area of practice or with a particular population. For those with a goal of future LCSW, a clinical placement may become a distinguishing factor in your MSW experience as well. As I just mentioned, the online program is a cohort model program. This means that all students who come into the program to start in the fall will take the same set of courses in the same order throughout the life of the degree program. You will participate in discussion boards and didactic interactions with the same set of students over the years of the program. The program curriculum is structured as a part-time program with 2 courses each semester. This includes summers too. The total amount of time it takes to complete the degree is 2 years for advanced standing students and 3 years plus 1 semester for professional foundation students. Again, you will have coursework and/or field in the summer semesters. One of the upsides to a cohort model is that there will not be any competition for classes and enrollment. All seats will be held open specifically for online students of that cohort. I will be enrolling you in these special sections of courses. Again, you do not need to worry about enrolling yourself in courses in the online program. Please be sure you have completed the credit agreement in your pause account, as I am unable to enroll you until this has been completed. Instructions on how to create your pause account are included in the official letter of acceptance that you received from the graduate school. Next, we're going to take a look at the curriculum for the online MSW program. The first part of the curriculum that we're going to highlight is the professional foundation. This listing of courses is the first 24 credits of the degree program taken by students without a BSW degree. Advanced standing students do not need to take these courses, as equivalencies are presumed by virtue of having a BSW degree from a Council on Social Work Education, CSWE, accredited program. Sometimes, a person who doesn't have a bachelor's degree in social work may have substantially similar undergraduate coursework that could qualify them for waiver, or what we call exemption, for one or more of these foundation courses. If you think that could be you, or you want to learn more about this to find out if it might be you, please reach out to me after reviewing this orientation. This is only relevant for someone who does not have a BSW. The foundation part of the curriculum is the only part for which we consider for waiver or exemption. There are no possible exemptions for the advanced curriculum. On your slide, you'll see a list of the courses of our advanced curriculum. Foundation students will take these courses after they've completed the foundation curriculum. Advanced standing students will only take these courses. The course topics of our MSW program ensure social work education across the professional competency areas required by the Council on Social Work Education. No matter if your preferred career track is in direct practice with social work clients, or if you envision a future as a supervisor or an administrator, or maybe you want to work with community groups, you'll receive some advanced education in all of these areas. We know that social workers don't stay in one position or one area of practice for their whole careers. Today's social workers need versatility, and that's what our curriculum provides. Ethical practice, a respect for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and social justice will be the bedrock of all of your courses in our MSW program. Through these courses, you will learn about working with families, working with people of all ages who are impacted by trauma, working with older adults, and working with people struggling with health and mental health issues. I just showed you the lists of courses from the different tracks of the curriculum. Here is a visual representation of how the trajectory of the program will look semester by semester. This chart represents the foundation track. You will have 2 courses per semester. The semesters that involve field placement, you will have field placement plus 1 other class. This slide demonstrates the program trajectory for advanced standing students. You will have 2 courses per semester. The semesters that involve field placement, you will have your field placement plus 1 other class. New for 2024, we're exploring and working towards setting up options to offer the Trauma-Informed Care Certificate to online MSW students. This will likely mean that you will remain in our program for an additional semester and/or require some individualized adjustment to the charts that you saw previously. I have started a list for those who have expressed interest in the TIC certificate. Once we finalize the details for TIC, I will reach out to everyone on the list and provide you with more information. Please let me know if you're interested in being added to this list. The online courses will be just as rigorous as the traditional campus-based courses, and you will often have the same instructors who teach in the traditional program. However, the courses in the online program have been redesigned from the traditional program versions of these courses to optimize online engagement with the content, your peers, and your instructor. Our redevelopment has been in collaboration and with the support of expert online course designers. Our online program will be delivered asynchronously. What this means is that you will be doing the work of the courses on your own time each week, within the deadlines provided by the instructor. Good online learning philosophy involves more than just voice-over PowerPoint lectures and reading. The online program experience will include regular assignments and requirements for students to engage in the topic of the class each week. So students won't be able to be passive bystanders to the content and learning. There will be regular small stakes assignments as the course moves along, with active feedback from the instructors as you go. There will not be any scheduled synchronous class sessions with the instructor and all students. You may have some small group or pair activities to set up with other students per the schedules of those involved, but no required full class meetings. Your instructors will be available to you for phone calls, virtual office hours, or email exchanges if you need support outside of the online class format. Courses will be structured and facilitated through UWM's online course platform called Canvas. You will need good, reliable computer and internet access to be successful in this online program. Some of the recordings you see and hear may not be from your direct instructors for the course, but possibly offered from another professor who helped develop the material. But your instructor of record will be the person to consult with for questions and will be the person giving you instructive feedback on your work for the class. There are a variety of types of students for whom this program will be ideal. Here's a sample of some of the reasons our online MSW program may be a good fit for you. It is not unusual for online students to find themselves reflected in a few of these bullet points. Students who work. Students with significant other life responsibilities. Students who want flexibility about where and when they can complete their coursework each week. Students who don't want to commute or park. Students who are geographically distant from UWM. And students who appreciate a curriculum that includes a variety of learning across the spectrum of social work topics. For whom is the online program not a good fit? People who want to be a full-time student, have a priority to earn their degree in the shortest amount of time as possible, have a very specific curriculum interest, especially school social work or substance abuse counseling, people who find it challenging to be self-motivated when they're not attending a scheduled class session, or people who don't always feel comfortable to take initiative when they have questions. If after hearing all of this information, you're rethinking if the online program is a good fit for you, please note that you can select to transfer into our traditional campus-based program. Contact me or Amy Kirby after this orientation for more information and to discuss the different options in more detail. To offer just a little more information as a comparison point about our traditional program versus this online program, I will highlight a few differences. In the traditional program, students can be full-time or part-time. There are some online course sections available for building in flexibility to a student's course schedule, but the traditional program will not be available fully online. Another thing to note about the traditional program is that we can offer other specializations like school social work curriculum and substance abuse counseling curriculum that are not possible through our online MSW program. The traditional program has a wider array of elective choices for students as well. There are no elective choices for the online program. So now we're going to turn to some of the additional and bigger picture details of the things you need to know about being an online graduate student at UWM. Some things I'll talk about are unique to being an online student, and many things are important for simply being a graduate student at UWM, period. As a new student to the MSW program at UWM, we want to help you understand where you fit in as a student in the larger structure at UWM. The Helen Bader School of Social Welfare, the School of Education, and the School of Information Studies fall under the umbrella of CCEP, which stands for the College of Community Engagement and Professions. As a student in the Social Work Department, you are part of the Helen Bader School of Social Welfare, typically referred to as HBSSW. Within our school is also the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. As a graduate student at UWM, there is another entity that plays a role in the policies and procedures of graduate student life, and that is the Graduate School. The Graduate School is a separate administrative office that manages and oversees some aspects of functioning for all graduate programs on campus. You will receive emails from the Graduate School, and if there is ever any need to address any extenuating circumstances to your student status, those actions will likely go through both the Social Work Department, through the MSW Program Coordinator, and ultimately through the Graduate School. I will be your first and primary place for support and advising about your MSW program. We don't want you to ever feel like you're not sure who to contact or how to get information that you need. When in doubt, contact me. You can find my information on this slide, and if I'm unable to help you, I'll direct you to the person who can. Amy Kirby is also another important contact who can assist you in your time as an MSW student. To help you understand and navigate the social work world, you will have a variety of faculty and instructors, people who are researchers in the social work field, as well as many who are social work practitioners in the field and teach part-time. You'll benefit from a wide variety of perspectives and expertise. Your field liaison will be the person who assists you and supports you through your field placement experiences. Your field instructor will be the person at the field agency who supervises you and your experiences there. They will become critical informal mentors and advisors for your future professional network. Important information about the online MSW program will be found in the online MSW program handbook that will be located on our MSW program webpage.
I want to take a few moments to speak to some really important considerations for entering into graduate school. Here we look at school, work, and life balance. Finding this balance as a graduate student can be quite difficult, but creating some semblance of it will be important for you. We know that you all have other things going on in your lives, like jobs, significant others, family, friends, people who depend on you, hobbies, and interests. And graduate studies will become a very big part of your life for the next few years. We ask that you think in advance about how you will integrate all of the things that are important to you and still be able to be successful and productive in your graduate studies. Our program is a part-time program, which can help with this balance since you will only be taking 2 courses per semester. Field placement or internship will add to the intense requirements of an MSW degree. More details to come on this topic later, but for now, as most of you know, completing your field placement experience adds an extra layer of complexity to being a student. Throughout all of this, self-care is going to be critical. Part of self-care will be to make decisions and set priorities for your time as a graduate student. Learning these skills now will be important to a future in social work practice, where self-care will continue to be an important consideration for the longevity of your social work career. Part of self-care during your time as a graduate student is to help you strive for personal well-being while in graduate school and beyond. Issues of student personal well-being are the #1 disruption to a person's graduate school success that we see each semester. We sometimes work with students who experience hardships related to health, mental health, family issues, financial issues, etc., that impact their ability to fully participate in their graduate studies and field experiences. My advice to you is this: be realistic, be honest with yourself about how much you can take on and be successful with. We sometimes hear from students who really have the best of intentions about what they're going to take on and place great pressures on themselves about what they can achieve, only to later find out that it was too much. Then they're faced with new sets of tough decisions or negative outcomes to the semester from which they have to work even harder to come back from. Be proactive. If challenges arise, consider early and often if the challenges will impact your success as a graduate student. In being proactive, we ask that you communicate with your instructors, field liaisons, and other relevant faculty and staff. Sometimes with advanced communication and a little heads up, this is happening in my life, some adjustments can be allowed to support your success. If the challenges are beyond something that is a simple adjustment, the earlier you communicate with someone, the more opportunities there may be for making more significant adjustments without much penalty to you. The longer a student waits out challenges, either trying to avoid having to acknowledge them or not wanting to admit that things are really too much, the tougher it gets to find a solution to protect your graduate school status. When communicating about challenges, we don't need to know all the details of your business. However, some facts and a sense of where your challenges are can go a long way to helping us help you. Use your own personal support resources. Utilize the UWM Accessibility Resource Center if you have documented needs related to health, mental health, or disability and accessibility needs in your education. The UWM Dean of Students Office can be a resource for times when you are faced with economic challenges. You at UWM is an online resource related to all of what I just mentioned and more as you set goals and seek support in your time as a student at UWM. This is graduate school, and the threshold for success is higher than it was as an undergrad. Graduate students must maintain an average of a B or better, or a 3.0 at all times, or else risk not being able to continue as a graduate student. And last, but definitely not least, is that as a social work student and a social work professional, you will be held to high standards of professional competence, while at the same time being human. In practice, you will be called upon to be a solid and stable professional, the kind that you would feel comfortable treating your child, or ensuring proper care for your grandmother, or supporting your spouse through a mental health episode, or assisting your best friend through their experience of trauma, or selecting foster parents for your cousin, etc. In the end, we can't be what clients need us to be if our own well-being doesn't come first. Okay, so enough on that. Back to the other details of the MSW program. There are some important identifiers you will need and use to set up your UWM accounts and gain access to UWM resources. In your acceptance letter from the UWM Graduate School, the one that came to you after the acceptance from us, you were given a campus ID number. This would be the number that starts with 990 or 991 and is 9 digits long. This is your campus ID number. You will need this number in order to activate your ePanther ID, which is another identifier that is used to log into UWM systems and is the part of your UWM email address that comes before the @uwm.edu part. Like Amy Kirby's ePanther ID is just Kirby, and her email address is kirby@uwm.edu. And finally, as a UWM student, whether or not you come to campus, you can get a student ID card. There is a process for online students to get this ID card, and the instructions for that can be found at the web link that we offer here. PAWS is the UWM system through which you manage many aspects of your student account, including enrollment. However, note that as an online student, we will register you in your classes, since your sections of classes are hidden to our traditional students, and a spot in those classes is held just for each of you. So you won't use PAWS so much for enrollment, but there are other functions for which you will access your account in PAWS, including paying tuition and fees, managing account holds, and applying for graduation. On this screen here is the login page for PAWS. For information about PAWS use, you can click on the word Students, as you see here, and it will take you to instructions and tutorials for using PAWS. You will need that ePanther ID to log into this system. We encourage you to use the instructions sent to you from the UWM Graduate School to set up your UWM email account and get into your PAWS account as soon as you're able. Please note that PAWS has a section that lists your advisor, which is blank right now. Just know that I am the advisor for all online students. My name will be entered there in the upcoming weeks. All new students start out with a hold on their PAWS account. please be sure to go into your pause account and complete the credit agreement to remove that hold. You will find the link to that credit agreement hold under Holds on your pause homepage, similar to what you see here. The credit agreement is a very quick process where you click on a box and state that you agree to be responsible for any tuition costs that you accrue at UWM. We can't enroll you until you do this, so please do this ASAP if you have not already.
The cost for our online program follows a different tuition model than our traditional program. It is a per credit cost of $675 per credit for all students, regardless of Wisconsin residency. Students will be taking 6 credits per semester. Advanced standing students will have 6 total semesters, and professional foundation students will have 10 total semesters. Most MSW students fund their education through traditional federal financial aid that can be applied for through the Federal Application for Student Financial Aid, also known as FAFSA. If you will want federal financial aid to fund your graduate education, please do the FAFSA application as soon as possible. You can talk with the UWM Financial Services Department about any specific questions that you have about financial aid in your specific situation. Please be sure to clarify with the financial aid counselor that you are a graduate student. The Helen Bader School of Social Welfare has a variety of scholarships in amounts between $500 and $2,000 for current and incoming students. See the Helen Bader School of Social Welfare webpage and scholarships tabs for more details. Please note that the scholarship applications have closed for this academic year, but you may apply for any relevant scholarships for your second year in the program. Financial aid will not be available for any semesters in which students are not enrolled in 4 credits or more. This is a federal policy. This will not apply to most of you, but would apply to students who may qualify for exemption.
For the next few slides, we offer a number of miscellaneous tips, hints, and advice for our MSW students. To start, you are strongly encouraged to keep a copy of all of your course syllabi. There will be a PDF version of a syllabus for each of your classes in the Canvas course site, so we recommend downloading and saving a copy for yourself for every course. The reason for this is for future credentialing purposes. It is not unusual for us to hear from MSW alum 5, 10, or even 20 years after they graduate who are seeking credentialing in another state who are asking us for a syllabus. We may not always have them available for you when needed far into the future. We encourage you all to be proactive and ask questions as you have them. Think ahead to your needs and concerns for future semesters and talk about issues early. If you have questions, we're happy to help, but you might easily find some of your information on the web pages of UWM, the UWM Graduate School, and the School Social Work Department web pages or the handbook, so check those out too. You will find connections with other students in your cohort, with your instructors, with your field faculty, and instructors. Relationship development will be important and critical to your success in the master's program and beyond as a social worker. And a really important tidbit is to stay in tune to and regularly check your UWM email account. We will communicate a lot of important information this way. Things about field placement opportunities, employment opportunities, policy or procedural changes, and so much more. You'll begin to recognize names like mine or Amy Kirby, or even Zach Chartrand, who's the MSW advisor for traditional students, Jeannie Wagner, who's the director of field, Dimitri Topitsas, Aaron Fox, etc. Emails from these folks may be important. We know you'll be inundated with email, but please do your best to stay up to date and find a system for keeping up with them. We're always working on ways to minimize the amount of email that we send to you. While we did collect a personal or other email address from you as a part of your MSW application, all program communications will start going to you exclusively through your UWM email.
Here, I'll continue with some other important information as you begin the MSW program. When it comes to federal financial aid that you may qualify for through the FAFSA process, whatever amount that you're approved for and you accept for a given academic year, so 2024 to 2025, for instance, is intended to count for the full academic year, which means fall 2024, spring 2025, and summer 2025. But, and this is a big but, the default disbursement for the financial aid is half of the total amount in fall and half in spring. Summer isn't standard for many academic programs, but it is for us. So, if you will want some of your financial aid amount dispersed in the summer too, you will need to arrange that directly and specifically with the UWM Financial Services Office to release the aid in 3 disbursements instead of 2. Of course, you can always choose to take the full amount in the 2 disbursements and save some for yourself in the summer. Not all of your classes will have textbooks required, but many will. At UWM, you will go through the eCampus bookstore, the link is shown on the slide, to find out which books are required and or optional for a given class. If nothing is listed, then it is likely that there may not be a text required and or you will find out more about the requirements as the semester starts. The eCampus website is a little weird to navigate because it almost makes it seem like you have to buy the books through the website to find out what is required for a class. But please know that you can find out which books you need for your courses without having to purchase them from eCampus. You have the option to find out what books are required and search for them anywhere you'd like to, and do some price comparison if you'd like. You are under no obligation to buy them from UWM's eCampus bookstore. For this next point on graduation versus commencement, we know that you haven't even started the program yet, but here we are talking about finishing the program already. But this is an important distinction at UWM. Graduation is finishing all the courses to earn your degree at UWM. Commencement is the ceremony, so when you walk across the stage that celebrates your graduation. At UWM, we do not have an August or summer commencement ceremony. August graduates are invited to attend the commencement ceremony in May or spring, the semester before you actually finish your final classes and graduate. This is important for you and advanced standing students who will be graduating in August of 2026. Your opportunity to walk in the commencement ceremony will be in May of 2026. We'll prompt you more about this as time nears. And finally, I know we said this already, but please, please, please read your UWM emails.
An important aspect of our program is that we are accredited by the Council on Social Work Education, or CSWE. CSWE requires that social work education is grounded in 9 professional competencies, as you see on the slide here. These competencies underlie the courses you will be taking, and you will see these concepts reflected in your field placement experience and how you are evaluated in your field learning. We offer this information here so you are at least exposed to and familiar with the importance of the role of CSWE and the competencies in our curriculum and larger program, as you will see these referenced in your syllabi and field learning plans and evaluations. Now that you know about the professional competencies of social work education, Another important thing for you to know is that we must assess how well our students are learning and demonstrating these competencies and report this back to CSWE each year. You will experience multiple ways we assess these things during your time as an MSW student. Through your field education and the items and constructs on which your performance is assessed, as well as through knowledge assessments in both the foundation and advanced curriculums. For the foundation, you will be notified by the MSW coordinator of an assessment that you will take outside of your courses on your own time called the SWEEP exam, which is also known as the Social Work Evaluation and Assessment Project. In the advanced curriculum, there are 4 core courses that will have short competency quizzes at the end of each course, as listed here.
I'd like to address the use of artificial intelligence, or AI, in your courses. In general, do not use artificial intelligence tools unless explicitly asked to or given permission to by an instructor. AI is rapidly evolving, so when in doubt, ask. Unauthorized use of AI could be considered plagiarism or a form of cheating. Academic misconduct action can be taken against you. So some examples of AI, and this is not an exhaustive list, include ChatGPT, WordTune, Gemini, Copilot, Meta AI, etc.
Here we want to highlight that the writing and citation style used in the MSW program is APA, or that of the American Psychological Association. Many of you are probably already familiar with this style of writing. If you are not, and even if you are, and may need some refreshers, please use the helpful resources such as the online Purdue University OWL Writing Lab, where you can find all the details and examples of using APA. Even though our movement into online for social work is new, UWM as an institution has become a leader in online education overall. UWM has put together a website with tips, advice, and requirements for being a successful online student. Please be sure to check this out. Following from that, UWM has further created a self-paced, online, bigger picture orientation about being an online student and the UWM systems and services involved. All of our online MSW students will be asked to complete this orientation before the start of classes in the fall. The program at this link results in a certificate you can print off and turn in to us. It's administered in a similar format to an asynchronous class in Canvas, which is our online platform. So your experience going through it will be similar to that of being an online student. We will send you prompts and reminders to complete this sometime this summer in anticipation of your start of the program in the fall. No need to wait though. If you'd like to do it sooner, you are able. In summary, here's what it'll take to be successful as an online MSW student in our program. You have to be self-motivated. Without having to physically go to a class each week, it can be really challenging for students to have the self-discipline to complete their coursework each week. And if you aren't careful, you might find yourself missing deadlines and getting behind in the course. You have to have the ability to engage weekly. Our courses are designed for you to engage with the material, your instructors, and your classmates. You won't be able to be a bystander to this material. You have to be comfortable with technology. All aspects of your courses will involve some tech. So you'll have to be able to learn how to use UWM's learning management system called Canvas. You must be able to tolerate screen time. Your courses are going to require you to complete online readings, watching videos, and completing your assignments using a screen. It's important that you're able to tolerate hours of screen time each week. You have to have reliable technology and internet access. and be willing to reach out and ask questions. You also have to participate in opportunities to connect with other students. Establishing networks and working with others is a skill required by most social workers, and our goal is to provide you with preparation for your careers in social work, and this requires being able to work with others. There will be group work in some of the courses in this program, and you'll need to find time to connect with your peers virtually. We've already referenced the Council on Social Work Education. CSWE has identified that the learning that comes along with real-life experience observing and providing social work services is the signature pedagogy of social work education. What this means is that in social work education, we consider field experience to be the most important modality of learning about social work practice. The knowledge, theories, skills, and models of practice learned about in classes is very important, but made more meaningful by the field experience piece. Therefore, field is such a significant part of any social work education. So what is a field placement? A field placement is an internship experience that is required as a substantial part of your MSW education. Field placement is completed for course credit and a grade, and you must receive a B or better in your field placement semesters. You will complete field placement across 3 or 4 of your semesters in the MSW program, depending on if you're advanced standing or foundation. Field placement is typically 16 hours per week on average. Social work field placement will provide a wealth of learning opportunities, especially when you're looking for them. Field placement occurs in real and imperfect agencies, organizations, and social systems. This will provide you with opportunities to experience the full realm of what it'll be like to practice as an MSW social work professional. The good, the bad, and everything in between. You'll be challenged to practice and refine your relationship development skills, not just with clients, but also coworkers, supervisors, administrators, and other social workers from other organizations. Keep in mind that field placement is the ultimate networking opportunity. You may find the organization you do your field placement with is hiring around the time that you're graduating. Or maybe that organization is not, but your field supervisor knows of another organization that is, and refers you to a colleague in that organization. These kinds of circumstances happen all the time. In the end, the field placement gives you a basis for the experience you need to keep moving forward with your MSW career. The end of your field placement is not where the learning ends. In fact, it's just the beginning. Before getting into the details about how the field placement process will work, I want to offer this brief summary to keep in mind. You will not be alone in your search for a field placement. Our department serves as the link between you and your potential field placement sites. You will have to interview with and be selected by the placement site for a field placement. Every field site and field placement experience has different requirements or options for what days of the week and how many hours a day you will spend at your field placement site. Field placement schedules become quite individualized. The vast majority of field placement opportunities are during weekly business hours of Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Even for programs and institutions that are open more flexible hours, like hospitals, nursing homes, or residential treatment centers, for instance, the social workers providing supervision and the critical client care are not available during off-business hours. This limits the opportunities for field placements during evenings and weekends. I cannot stress this enough. If you are only available for field placement in the evenings and/or on the weekends, we cannot make any guarantees about being able to match you with a field placement. We have a very limited number of field placement sites that have some evening and weekend hours available for student placements. We will not be able to accommodate all students wanting these placements. We highly encourage our students to communicate with their employers and make other arrangements to secure a flexible work schedule that allows for field placement time during normal Monday through Friday business hours. The more flexibility you have will increase your placement options and opportunities. We're almost finished with this part of the Introduction to Field Placement for the MSW New Student Orientation. A few final notes about the overall process. You will signal your interest in a field placement and begin the process by applying for field early in the semester before you begin a field placement. This will include participating in criminal and caregiver background checks. When your application is completed and processed and the background checks are finalized, you will receive an email from our social work office confirming that you may contact the assigned field liaison to set up a meeting. This liaison is the clinical faculty from our program who will assist you to secure and follow you through your field placement experience. At this meeting, the liaison will learn more about your interests and career goals, as well as your scheduling and other relevant needs pertaining to field placement. Resulting from this meeting, the liaison will refer you to an agency for an interview. Students will only interview with one site at a time. Be sure to research the agency before you interview and demonstrate your interest in the agency and the opportunities they would offer. Be prepared to ask questions about the agency and the supervision you will gain at the site. If you do not have much experience with professional interviewing situations, please be sure to review this in advance with your field liaison. Upon a field site offering you a placement that you accept, you will work with the field site and your liaison to establish the next steps of the plan for starting the field placement. Some students wonder if they can do a field placement where they work. The answer to that is maybe, but it's not guaranteed. An employment-based field placement must meet the criteria for extension of learning through the job. Your field placement will be treated as an educational experience by UWM, and there can be some benefits and drawbacks that we will need to discuss prior to being approved for an employment-based field placement. One of the minimum criteria that would need to be met is that your agency or organization must have someone with an MSW degree that is willing to provide you with weekly supervision. The employee, employer supervisor, and administrators and UWM field staff must agree to the terms. Please note that if you are a professional foundation student who otherwise has 2 field placements to complete, if your job is approved, it will only count for 1 of the 2 field placements. Our advanced standing students will have 3 total consecutive semesters of participating in field placement. All of these field semesters will be in one agency or setting. The field course numbers for those 3 semesters will be 722, 821, and 822. Our foundation students will have 2 different placements for 2 consecutive semesters each. The first placement will be the course number 721 and 722. Your second placement will be for another 2 consecutive semesters, and the course numbers will be 821 and 822. For each new field placement, not each new semester, just each new setting, you will have to apply for field. Keep in mind that you will do this before the semester in which you want to begin that field placement. Online MSW students will not begin their field placement until fall of year 2, so you won't need to worry about your field application until the spring semester. Some individualized circumstances that may come up in the process of securing a field placement include these things. If you have any charges or convictions that come up in the caregiver or criminal background check process, you will want to discuss this with your field liaison prior to being referred to an agency for an interview. The field liaison will want to discuss the specifics of your situation and to work with you to strategize how you will address the hit during the field placement interview. Generally speaking, past offenses will not prohibit you from a field placement or working in the social work field. However, certain offenses and situations could limit the settings in which you can practice. We will want you to be well informed in advance. Some placements, particularly those in healthcare settings, residential centers, and some other types of organizations, may require you to have a pre-placement health screen. This might include things like a drug screen, health assessment, providing evidence of immunizations or getting up-to-date immunizations, or a TB test, etc. Going through these pre-placement health requirements will be at your personal expense with your preferred providers. Using the UWM-Norris Student Health Center is generally an option for most health screening needs and can be done at discounted rates. Your field liaison will discuss this further with you if it is a requirement of a placement that you may be interested in. And a small handful of agencies have some requirement for having a vehicle and confirmed car insurance. Again, if this applies to an agency you might be interested in, the field liaison will discuss this with you in advance before even referring you for an interview there. Being referred for an interview doesn't guarantee placement at that site. Part of your job is to impress and secure the placement through the interview. Sometimes placement sites are interviewing multiple students for a placement opportunity. Sometimes you may not be selected for a placement, not because you weren't a good candidate, but maybe you just weren't the top candidate. Don't worry though, we will keep working with you and will refer you to another site. Sometimes a student isn't selected due to more specific concerns like the ones listed here. The field liaison will talk with you about any reasons for not being selected for field placement after an interview. If you were not selected for placement after 3 interviews, and for reasons beyond simply competition factors, you may be required to reassess your readiness for field placement in your social work education with the field liaison and field director. As we near the end of the field placement process part of this presentation, I want to note some things about the minimum courses that are required to be taken while you are in field placement. 721 is that foundation level of field placement for which some MSW students will be exempt. For those who are not exempt and are beginning field with the course number 721, you will enroll for a 50-minute per week field seminar class. For the 722, 821, and 822 field courses, there is no additional seminar. All of your field hours will be at the field site. I don't expect you to commit all of this to memory, but my point in sharing this is to be sure that you're aware that there are certain other course requirements when you are in field placement. We want you to keep your mind open to the new challenges, growth, and development that can come along with the field experience. Even negative experiences provide lots of opportunities for learning. Field placement can bring important networking and employment opportunities. Focus on building relationships and developing your skills where you can. You will inevitably be making a difference to the people you serve while learning at the same time. We will try to get as many of the cohort members together as possible to kick off the semester sometime in August. Includes the general orientation presentation. If you want to know more about exemption, please keep listening. If this doesn't apply to you, you can stop the presentation here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Michelle Jervelin, at the email address that you see on your screen. Thank you for your attention, and I really look forward to working with all of you over the next few years. Bye. What is exemption? An exemption is a waiver from a foundation course based on substantially similar coursework you may have taken as an undergrad. The course must have been taken within 7 years of starting the MSW program. Evidence for exemption is provided through a course syllabus demonstrating the details of the course. Sometimes it is more than one course that, when combined with another, can equate to or waive from one of our foundation courses. If you'd like to request consideration for exemption from any of these courses listed here, you will make a request through an electronic survey tool and upload all copies of supporting syllabi for your previously taken courses. If you would like a brief summary of these courses to see if they sound familiar to courses you have taken, please contact me and I will send this to you. A few slides from now, you will see the QR code that can be used to get to the survey through which you can make this request when you have all of your documents in order. If you would become exempt from a particular course or courses in the professional foundation, what that would mean logistically for you is that you would just not take that class or classes in the cohort schedule. In reality, that could mean if you were exempted from a course, you would maybe only have one course to take in a given semester. For instance, let's say that you qualify for exemption from our 662 Methods of Social Welfare Research. Then in spring semester of year 1, you would only take 665 Cultural Diversity. This all sounds great and can lighten your academic load if it's relevant to you. However, I must make you aware of a very important caveat when it comes to financial aid. A graduate student only qualifies for federal financial aid in semesters that they are enrolled for 4 credits or more. If you only have one 3-credit course to take in a given semester, you will not qualify that semester for federal financial aid. That one 3-credit course that is left for you to take will cost $2,025 and will not qualify for federal financial aid coverage. In order to have Amy Kirby review and consider any exemptions, you will need to go to this survey, indicate which UWM courses you are requesting consideration for exemption from, and upload each relevant syllabus to the survey. Each syllabus will have its own upload field in the survey. If you have any questions about exemption, please contact Amy Kirby at the email address you see on your screen. Thank you again for listening to this presentation. I look forward to working with all of you, and please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or concerns. One more reminder, please be sure to check your email for any future updates and communications about the online MSW program.